Hey guys, for math today, I'm going to use some of the online virtual manipulatives from the mathlearningcenter.org. When I post this video, I will also post the link to the manipulatives that I am using in case you want to try it at home. But today we are going to work on fractions with groups of objects. So in your calendar today, it says to get 10 counters. So you can use anything that you have, Cheerios, blocks, anything that you can find, rocks, but you need 12 of them. So I'm going to get 12. Here we are. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so when we are talking about fractions, we've talked about one whole, we've talked about 1/2, and we've talked about fourths as well. So right now, if there was only one person, if there was just me, how many of these red chips could I have? I could have all of them, right? I would get all 12 chips. So all 12 of these chips, this is my whole. Okay? So again, if I were just by myself, I would be able to have all 12. All 12 is my whole. Now let's pretend that I have Ella with me also. So I would want to give Ella the same amount of chips as I have. Now I only have 12, but this time I can't keep all 12 to myself because if I did, then Ella would get 0, and that's not a fair way to share. So what I like to do is I like to take my pieces and move them one at a time, taking turns into 2 different piles for the 2 different people. So I'd start here. So I get 1, Ella gets 1. 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 I get 1, and Ella gets 1. So right now my pile has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Ella's pile has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have taken the 12 chips and I have divided them in half in 2 equal groups. So half of 12 is 6. I have 6 and Ella has 6. All right, so our whole is 12. We know half is 6. Now I'm going to put them all back together in one pile, because we are going to talk about if there were 4 people. All right, so if there were 4 people, let's say I have me and Mrs. Fisher and Mrs. Wyatt and Miss Webb. So all 4 kindergarten teachers. That's who I'm going to pretend I am sharing with today. So there are 4 people. So I'm going to do exactly how I did it with Ella and I when I was splitting the pile in half, but this time I'm going to put them into 4 separate piles, okay? Because there are 4 people. So here's one for Mrs. Adams. Here's one for Mrs. Fisher. Here's one for Mrs. Wyatt. And here's one for Miss Webb. Now I do it all over again. Me, Mrs. Fisher, Mrs. Wyatt, Miss Webb. Okay, me, Mrs. Fisher, Mrs. Wyatt, Miss Webb. So now I have divided all of my chips into 4 different piles. Now you can see that all of the piles are equal. I have 3, Mrs. Fisher has 3, Mrs. Wyatt has 3, and Miss Webb has 3. Okay, so 1/4 of 12 is 3. So let's look here. So we had a whole, we had this number, which is 12. That was 1 whole. When we had 2 different groups, we broke that up into a group of 6 for me and a group of 6 for Ella. This represents 1/2 and 1/2. All right, and then we broke the 12 into 4 different groups of 3. So I had 3, 3, 3, and 3. And that represents fourths. All right, guys, try this at home. Like I said, you can use real objects that you have in the house, or you can go to this website, mathlearningcenter.org. I'm using the Number Frames app on this, and I will post that link for you guys also. All right, have fun, and ask me if you need any help. Ask me, and I'll try to get with you back. Bye.